Just listen. I'm sorry what I did to Compton.
You are listening to
Fire emergency.
Please don't touch this weapon. I'm sorry I killed that girl.
straight from Buenos Dias Media Studio in New York City. This is the Grim Fix Podcast. I am your host, David, and I am here with JR.
What's up, everyone?
Yes, Charles is dealing with some situations. We hope everything is okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we are doing the show us two this week. Last week it was them two. This week is us two. And today we will be talking about it's a topic I found it pretty interesting. I've heard the term before, and especially when you talk to like these conspiracy theorist people, they talk a lot about the whole glitch in the Matrix. And to be honest, I kind of had an idea of what it meant, but it's not a topic that I really ever looked into until you guys chose it as a topic for the show.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yes, very interesting. So before we start, if you are listening to us on podcast platform, this is totally free to you. All we ask is that you subscribe to the podcast and share with your friends, drop a review if you can, if it lets you do that, depending on what platform you're listening to us. But you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, I think Google Play, etc., etc. If you are watching us on our YouTube channel, the Grim Fix Podcast, I only ask you that you subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends, and always drop us a comment. We love hearing from you guys. So if you want to add anything or if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section. In the show notes and podcasts and description, you can find also the articles that we will be reading today. So if you decide you want to read further into it, you are welcome to do so. And one last thing is, if you have a story you want us to talk about, share on the show, dissect your story, make fun of it. I don't know. Whatever your story is, as long as it's pretty interesting and it will make a good episode to the show. I think that's the question. I mean, yeah, if you think your story would make a great episode of the Grim Fix Podcast, we invite you to send us your story at the grimfixpodcast@gmail.com. So with that said, cue the French fries.
Cue the French fries.
Let's start the show. All right. So the glitch in the Matrix. I meant to cue this up before.
Anyway, while you look for that, like I was telling you, I had kind of a sort of experience myself in that glitch moment. I was coming from I had taken my wife to dialysis. When I was on my way back, I actually saw an airplane. Like, I'm guessing it was just taking off, but it literally looked like if it was standing right there. I mean, I meant to take out my phone, but it's like I was so intrigued, I didn't take it and recorded it.
Yeah.
But from every angle that the car turned, it just literally stood there, like it didn't move. I know it's probably an optical illusion, because it probably was because we were moving, that's moving. I guess it's the speed. I don't know what it is, but I'm telling you, it looked really freaky. It just stood there.
I think there was a video a few months back. If I can find it, I will put it in the YouTube video for those of you watching on YouTube. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure I saw a video a few months back where that's exactly what happened. There's actually more than one. I think it was when we were talking about, or I was looking into the whole, when we were going to do an episode on UFOs. But yeah, it was that. Like the plane is like suspended in midair, no movement, and apparently, according to I think the description or the person says it stood like that for hours,
Wow.
which is insane. So when we talk about a glitch in the Matrix, right? It just says here that glitches are events that can only really make sense if we accept the notion that our current reality is actually kind of a simulation, sort of. When you talk to these conspiracy theorists, they'll talk about that and they're like, well, what if all this is just a simulation? What if we don't really exist? What if someone is actually controlling everything?
But it's funny that all of this came out like when the movie's Matrix came out. Nobody ever heard of a glitch in the Matrix before that movie.
Well, I think the whole term Matrix wasn't really known to the common folk like us. I mean, I'm pretty sure all these computer nerds and all that, they knew it's not a new term for them. For us, it was like, holy shit, what? I mean, I remember when I saw the movie The Matrix, I didn't even know what The Matrix was. I just thought it was a cool name for a movie. But yeah, it's interesting when you look at it that way. Like, what if this is a simulation? What if the reality is there's these, I don't know. I mean, we talk about the concept of God, but apart from that, if you want to look at it like, what if there's like computer nerds somewhere and this is a game for them and they're just watching as everything, evolves and grows and changes. And
like SimCity.
Yeah. And what if we're just part of it and all of a sudden we're so smart that we're becoming aware of holy shit.
What? No, it sounds like a conspiracy, bro.
Yeah, I mean, but think about it. Like, what if we're like, so I don't know if for those of you who have watched, I don't know if you've seen this show. There's a show called Westworld. And that show, when it came out, it's an HBO show. And I gotta say, season 1 and 2 are the shit. Then season 3 was, and season 4, I didn't even bother watching it. But season 1 and 2, it's giving you an introduction of what it's all about. And it's actually sort of like, okay, let's imagine it's a theme park, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a section that it's like lands, this huge area of land, and they decided to create sort of like a theme park, right? Minus the rides, it's just people there, right? So the way they present it to you, you don't know this is happening. This is stuff that you learn afterwards. It's in the olden times. It's Western cowboys, Indians, like back in the day, the Wild Wild West, right? And the reality is that if you're a rich person, you can pay to go to this place and live through a certain era of time. And you find women, you fuck, you kill, you steal, you do all of this shit. But the truth is, these are all AI robots.
What?
And you're just there. You, as the person who's paying, know that you're there because you pay to be there, to live through that.
Then it's real robots.
So it's real robots.
Not a simulation through computer.
No. It's a simulation in the sense of it's simulating a time
period.
Yeah, time period. So, but with time, as time passes, these robots, I mean, again, you go through shit. You got to defend yourself. You can you can almost get hurt, but you can kill them. And then these robots are put back together, brought back to life, but they have artificial intelligence. And with time, they become aware of that. And they start understanding, holy shit, we are part of a simulation. They're using us. Maybe it's time to fight back.
Oh, wow.
That's the premise of the show. It's super, super interesting. Season 1, you can find them on cinema because that's where I watched them. Season 1 and 2, great. Season 3 again, it's just they just ruined the whole. I don't know. They went off, and again, season 4, they made it the last one because they took such a long gap between seasons, and I guess just people just lost interest.
Yeah. When you, especially movies like that, it's got to be continued quickly.
But season 1 and 2, you should definitely watch it. Super, super interesting.
What's the name again?
Westworld.
Westworld.
Mm-hmm.
I have to check that out. That sounds interesting.
No, it's very interesting.
But that also reminds me of this movie. Remember Gamer?
Remember the name? I don't remember.
Remember that it's basically everything was a game. There was a part where how can I put it? It was like a Call of Duty part. Then there was the world where everybody was like chatting, or it was just a regular Sims game. And they were actually, there were people on their computer at home and controlling other people to do all them stupidities.
Yeah, it's like that shit. What is it? Second Life? You ever heard of that?
No, never heard
Basically, of that. Sims, but you create a character and you live a life through this.
Yeah, they got a movie like that.
Character that you.
They actually have a movie like that where everybody's at home in a computer, like in a capsule.
Yeah.
And they send out a robot. It's like a robot simulating them out into the world to do, everyday normal things. But they're still living in their apartment, locked up and living through, an AI.
Yeah, that's too much for me, man. It's too much for me because it can actually happen at this point.
True. No, the way things are going, yes.
The way things are going,
bro.
It can happen.
Bro. It's when did this AI come out? Like all these AI apps, not apps, programs that came out. It was like not too long ago, right?
Well, for us, the plebes, the common folk, yes. This is not new to these cyber nerds.
I was watching a video where they actually did that nowadays you can get an app that puts your face in a movie.
Yeah.
Right? They actually I saw a clip on YouTube where they did that like way back in 2016, 2015. From 14 to 15, they did it on a show where they actually took a person's, famous person. He was singing, but they had placed a famous person's face on it, and everybody was seeing through the screen.
Yeah.
And they were seeing that famous person. I was like, yo, that came out then, and now it's like it's when it's blowing up.
I'm telling you now, the common folk like me. Listen, I did a video for my other channel, El Desaprendizaje, just in case for all you Spanish-speaking people. You can find it at Buenos Dias Media TV. I have a show there where we talk about, personal development, personal finance, and stuff like that. It's in Spanish. So I went to ChatGPT and I told ChatGPT to write a script for a video based on the topic I wanted to talk about. And then I went to this other website. For those of you watching on YouTube, you will see I will place a clip here where I actually got this guy, this video guy, and I put him to say the whole script of the video, and I'm not even in it. It's just AI actor with an AI voice and an AI created script. Yep. But anyway, so the glitch in the Matrix, right? So we found here, it's a BuzzFeed article. we chose this one because it has a list of 13. I don't know, we might read all of them, but there's 13 stories of people experiencing a glitch in the Matrix that'll freak you out. And I like it because it's like, short stories, and then they have a link for those of you, again, if you want to read the entire article, read the full story, you can check in the show notes of the show, or you can check on the YouTube description. We will have a link there to the article where they send you to the story, and it's like Reddit stories and whatnot. All right. So let's go through the first one. Right. It's called The Wife Who Was Seen in Two Different Spots. Says, one evening, a man and his wife returned home from dinner. When he opened the door, he saw his wife sitting at the computer doing work, which is a normal sight when he gets off work, except for the fact that she was entering the house with him. When they went to bed, he told her that he'd inexplicably seen her sitting at the computer earlier. She got very serious and told him that she had seen herself sitting at the computer too. Creepy.
Yo, if she saw it before, why didn't she say something?
Yeah, like
that bugs me out.
I think that would freak me out more. Like, okay, I think we've all experienced at one time or another where you see things and you don't know if what you think you saw is what you really saw. I think we all go through that. I mean, in normal events, nothing scary, nothing dark, but I think we've all experienced that where you're like, didn't I just see you walk by or some shit?
Right. It's like a deja vu.
Yes. So that's where I wanted to get to. Like, so is that considered a glitch in the Matrix? Because that happens a lot to me. The whole like quote unquote deja vu feeling.
Yeah, I've had it. I've had it before, and I've had it plenty of times.
Yes, I've had it a bunch of, but like simple shit that it's like, I take it as a sign, as in, maybe I'm supposed to be here. Maybe this is supposed to happen. Maybe my future is bright. I try to envision myself being very successful and doing well for myself. And sometimes you have, I don't know, maybe they're dreams that you had, maybe, which is, I always think of it that way. I was like, maybe I saw it in a dream. Maybe I dreamt and saw the future.
No, bro, yo, I actually had one of these episodes that we did, and I actually felt that. I was like, I did this before. I've had this, like, that whole moment,
Yeah.
that we were talking. It was us three talking about a topic, doing the same thing. And I was like, I've done this before. Like in my head, I was just repeating it over. I know I've done this before. And I'm trying to like remember the little bits and pieces, like maybe this is what's coming next, or trying to remember, but I couldn't because I was focused on the topic. We were like,
there's something as simple as like a feeling. Like, I think maybe a week or two, I was in the elevator with my wife, and I told her that I was like, yo, I feel like I've lived. I mean, granted, we take the elevator every day to work, but like the way I felt at that moment, I felt like I had lived exactly that moment before. So maybe that was a glitch in the Matrix.
Well, that's the way they used to call it before this Matrix stuff.
Yeah, deja vu.
It was a deja vu.
It was what was it? One of the theories was that maybe you lived a past life and you lived this before, and
right.
So
reincarnation and all this.
Yeah. Listen, at this point, I don't know, man. It could be anything. All right. You want to read the next one? The creepy driver and his unconscious passengers.
This one bugged me out, yo. You read the title already. It says an off-duty EMT was driving home through a storm when he spotted a Mercedes parked past a barricade with its hazard lights on. He stopped and walked over to it, shining his light in the back seat, where he saw a man slumped over as if he were sleeping. In the driver's seat was a man sitting upright, staring straight ahead. He didn't blink, move, or respond to taps on the window, and the other passenger was slumped forward on the dashboard. Creeped out, the EMT stepped away to call the sheriff's station. Dispatch asked him for her license plate number. But when he went to check, a large truck was coming down the road, so he waited for it to pass. When it did, the car was suddenly gone. There were trees in one direction and barricades in the other, leaving the man wondering how in the world this car and its mysterious occupants could have simply vanished. You know what? That truck that passed by was, I think it was PG and E.
Okay.
There's an electric company, I think it is.
Okay.
And in Reddit, they actually have a link to show the crossroad where that happened. But that's hard to believe, man. Sometimes I don't see that as a glitch. I don't know. It's like I don't see it as a glitch. Maybe it could have been some paranormal experience.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like it's
You
more
know,
of a
or
paranormal.
sometimes like people say they have a vision of something that's gonna happen or has happened, even though it didn't happen there.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't see it as much as a glitch.
Yeah. I mean, so far the first one also, it's like they're calling it a glitch in the Matrix, but was it? What if it was a ghost?
Yeah.
What if it was the ghost of wife past or wife future?
But yo, it's kind of weird, bro. You know, you're entering with your wife and you're seeing your wife sitting there. So unless you had a twin sister or something,
Yeah.
or
No, and you can chuck it up to I'm seeing things, but then your wife says, "Hey, I saw
she's
myself too." That's what it's like, yo.
dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, that's yeah. All right, let's go to the next one. It's called The Couple's Dream. This is a simple story. A guy has a girlfriend of 2 years named Susan. One night, he has a dream that he cheated on Susan with his ex-girlfriend. In the dream, while having sex with his ex, he looked over and standing outside the window is his mortified girlfriend, Susan, crying. He forgot about the dream, but then a few days later, when he was hanging out with Susan, she told him she had had a weird dream a few days earlier. She then described the exact same dream he'd had, but from her point of view, looking through the window. Yeah, you see, that's what I'm saying. Like, you dream things or you see things, all right, you can be a little spooked by it. But when someone out of the blue confirms that, that's where it gets a little iffy and a little scary. And like, it reminds me, I remember years ago, I was in Puerto Rico and I remember having, I don't know if they were exactly dreams or it was a vision. I'm not 100% sure of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do remember that I was in church at the time, and I remember saying like, "Oh man, this must be, I don't know, demons trying to scare me or attack me." And I started praying about it. And then a few days, maybe a few weeks later, a friend of mine from New York calls me and he says, "Hey," so he let me give you some context. He does believe in the whole spirit world, works with I mean, his part of his religion, he believes in like spirits and entities and all this stuff. And he calls me from New York and tells me, "Hey, so I was speaking to one of my spirits." And he goes, "And they told me you kept calling them demons when they showed up at your house." Like, yo, true story.
I can imagine.
I was like, what? He goes, yeah, they want you to understand that they're not there to hurt you, and you need to stop calling them demons. True story.
Yo, is this person someone I know?
I think you know him. I don't know if you met him. I think you met him personally, yeah.
I gotta remember.
But yeah, true story, man. All right, so let's go to the next one, right? It's
Yeah, the man who briefly had a second life. That's crazy, yo. He had a second life. But it also could be the way I see it when I read it, it also felt like it was just a dream. But,
Okay.
you know, it says a man recalls working as a vendor at a fish market. One morning he woke up, got dressed, got tea, went to the docks, bought some fish, and did his entire routine before sending fish all day. He spoke with his friends, smoked cigarettes, counted his money, paid his stall rent, went home, ate dinner, relaxed, and went to bed. The next morning, he woke up ready to go back to the docks for fresh fish. Only things were different. He was in bed next to his wife, and it was a Saturday, so he didn't have work. It was all a dream. He's a married man who has never worked in a fish market, yet somehow he experienced life as some single fish vendor in an entirely different life with no idea how it happened. See, there was just this dream. That's something that he wants to do. He wants to be work at a fish market. He wants to have a wife. I mean, he wants to be single. You know,
Yeah. In the
he's just
subconscious.
yeah, somewhere like in the back, like you need to leave. You need to go sell
Yeah.
fish.
I don't think I've ever had a dream like that though, of me like doing something I don't do. Like we all have weird dreams and we see different things and
Well,
we
you've had dreams like that because I consider like you must have had at least one dream when you were a kid that you're the best fighter and you be fighting everybody.
Oh yeah, but that's
Something
as
you
a
don't do.
kid and I mean I have dreams now as an adult where I'm like a badass and
Right. So that's
but it's like
something
I'm
you
talking
don't
about it's
do.
just so random the fact of like a whole different career.
Yeah, it's the detail. It's the
Like
details of the
me,
whole
I
situation.
don't know, dreaming that I work at a flower shop. That's something that it's never crossed my mind. Like it's yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I mean, again, I don't think I'd consider a glitch in the Matrix
No,
type
I don't
thing,
consider it
but
either. It's just subconscious. That's the way I see it.
yeah.
That's he wants a different life. He doesn't want that same. Even though the whole story, he says he's Chinese. He's living a Chinese man's life. He spoke fluent Chinese.
See, that's weird.
And he says the way he describes himself, he's a fat white man.
Yeah.
That's the way he expresses himself.
Yeah.
And
See,
yo,
that's
the
that's
comments were
weird.
crazy. The
Like
comments
I
were
wonder,
crazy.
are you looking into yeah, that could be something. See, now you're giving me context. That
Right.
could be something I could look at as is he looking into a previous life?
Right. Well, that's why if anybody wants to read
Wow.
that, well, when you go to BuzzFeed on the story on the bottom, it says click here if you want to read the full complete story, and it'll take you straight to the story itself.
That's interesting. Just imagine me like having a dream that I'm a Russian somewhere in
The guy
Russia.
says he
Oh,
knows a little bit of Russian, but he doesn't speak. He speaks a little bit of Spanish. He speaks a little bit of Russian, but he has no idea what's Chinese. And one of the
interesting.
comments had me rolling because it says, What about the Chinese guy in China? That lives in China is probably having a dream just like that, thinking he's a big fat white guy, married and living working in an office."
Now that'd be freaky if you find somebody that has a dream that they live in your life. Yeah. Wow.
I'm telling you, bro.
All right. The mom who was in two places.
That's like the other one. Oh, let's
Yeah.
see.
A boy and his mom were in a woodsy area near the backyard taking pictures of old cars to sell. Suddenly there was a rustling in the bushes and his mom told him to run. So he booked it. As he sprinted, he heard a clanking sound as if someone had jumped on the cars. He arrived at his house in a panic, only to find his mom sitting at the table reading the paper. He asked his mother about it as an adult. And while she remembers having cars in the backyard that she sold, she doesn't recall this incident ever happening. I mean, if you look at the part of, a boy and his mom were in a woodsy area near their backyard taking pictures. Suddenly, you hear the rustling in the bushes and your mom tells you to run. So you're giving me all this previous story. We're together. And then all of a sudden, I get home and you're home. So who the fuck was I talking to before?
It wasn't your mom. Your mom is at home. That
Yeah.
means you were hanging out with somebody. That's not a glitch. You're hanging out with something paranormal.
That's paranormal shit right there. Yeah,
You know,
that'd
it's
be creepy though.
was it a doppelganger? I think that's what they call it.
Yeah, somebody who
A
looks
shapeshifter
exactly
or
the same.
something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man.
That's more creepy.
No, that's fucking creepy though. I'm telling you, like I'm having a full-blown conversation, and all of a sudden you tell me run, and when I'm running, and I get home, you're there.
You got these pancakes under your armpits, all this sweaty, and she's just sitting there, just relaxing.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
You know, that's enough to just bug out.
Yeah, that's yeah, man.
That's not glitch.
Paranormal. That's paranormal shit. Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one.
Okay, I really did. I kind of hated this one. The orange doll that refused to go away. It says here, someone recalls their dad having a little toy monkey that he used to teasingly say was his favorite child. It was an ongoing joke. This person and their siblings would try to steal the monkey, playing into it. One day, they got a hold of the monkey and drew all over it with a Sharpie, then threw it in the garbage. They laughed when their dad searched for it, but he gave up when he figured they'd thrown it out. A few years later, this person was walking down the street in Toronto where they saw an orange object on the side of the road. They walked up to it, and it was the exact same toy monkey, black Sharpie lines and all. This person is still stunned, unable to figure out how this is possible when their garbage is sent to a total local dump that's nowhere near Toronto. See, that's I find it like,
I mean, that could have been.
Look, if the guy, whoever it is, let's say he went to Toronto, he went with his sister. I think he had a sister. I think it was. Okay. It was two of them, siblings.
Yeah.
Probably one of them just, instead of throwing it away, took it and just decided to play a prank. Let's walk through here.
That's one theory. I mean, also in New York City, this wasn't in New York City, but in New York City, you get your garbage picked on by people and by animals.
Bums.
Sometimes you get homeless people. Sometimes you just get people that collect cans and bottles and they just go through it. And I mean, they put everything back nicely. But you also have raccoons that take things out and they throw them around. I mean, that could have been anything. This story sucks.
Yeah, it was kind of cheesy. That's why I kind of hated this one.
All right, we can just go to the next one. The guy who lost an hour of life. A dude was in the car with a couple of friends heading home from a road trip. His parents called to see how far away he was, and he told them it'd be about 25 minutes. Shortly thereafter, he came around a bend and saw a full moon, which was reflected in the lake below. The road ahead was completely empty, not a single car in sight. Suddenly, everything went pitch black for a moment. No dashboard lighting, no headlights on the road, no music. Then the music was back with the CD playing from the beginning, and there was a vehicle being pulled over by a cop a quarter mile ahead. thought it hadn't been there for a split second earlier. Though it hadn't been there a split second earlier. He assumed he'd momentarily fallen asleep. But after a few moments, the driver of the car exclaimed that he thought he'd just fallen asleep as well. They shared the experiences, and more concerning was the clock, which was reading an hour later than it had been earlier. To avoid freaking out, they convinced themselves that the car may have had electrical failure that reset the clock. But when they arrived at his house 25 minutes later, he was an hour late. To this day, he has no idea how to explain the brief blackout and missing hour.
Yeah, that's easy to explain. No. Pass the weed.
The only thing that throws me off here is the fact that he
calls his house. He calls his house, tells his mom he was gonna be 25. It's gonna be 25 minutes there, and some crazy shit happened that he lost an hour. Well, it could have been anything, you know. He could have been drinking. He could have fell asleep, because nowadays these cars, they drive by themselves.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna crash.
So the only thing that throws me off here is that there were two people in the car. Well, a couple of friends, it says.
Yeah.
And like as I'm reading, I was just thinking like I'm assuming it's probably happened to other people. I know to me it's happened where you're doing something and it's like you go on autopilot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like further ahead, especially when you're driving. That shit is dangerous. But when you're driving and all of a sudden you think back like, oh shit, like
you missed out a whole.
Yeah, like you weren't really paying attention. But the fact that his friends also agree, oh well, maybe we fell asleep. That's where it throws me off. And the fact that he was an hour late to the place where he was gonna go. So he was missing exactly that hour.
Huh. Yeah, because it's during that time. Supposedly he got there 25 minutes, but an hour had passed.
Yeah, that's
even though they say like full story, it says the guy that was with him also noticed that there was a car being pulled over, you know, which wasn't there like seconds before.
Yeah, but we read that there. Yeah, that it says that. That's when I thought of that. I was like, maybe you like blank out, and all of a sudden, when you like come to, you're like, oh shit, a car. And you feel like it was like momentarily like, not there, but I don't know, man. But
I've had
that's a long time.
I've had that, you know. Well, not an hour, but I've had like what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like
I'll be driving on the highway, you know, especially when I used to take my wife to work. You know, I was in one town, she was in another. And it's like you said, you go automatic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you just, I don't know, just like you phase out for a second.
Yeah, you
and when you come to react, you're all the way. Yeah, I was already close to my house. I'm like, damn, you know, I didn't see like none of this.
Yeah, that's what I said. But an hour is a long time.
No, it could have been he stopped or something. I don't know. You know, it's hard
An hour is a long time, and there was more people. If it was him by himself, I'd be like, bro, you
fell asleep. That's
you probably dozed off and didn't even notice. But yeah, it was more people. So
and they experienced it also.
All right, let's go to this next one.
The dream that came true. It says here, someone remembers having a dream as a 15-year-old that was all blackness and talking. In the dream, she could hear her mother saying comforting things like, "You're doing great," and it's gone. She didn't think anything of it, but a few months later, her earrings were embedded inside her earlobes, and she had to go to the hospital to have them removed. They applied some type of freeze spray. Wow, that sounds so cartoony. A freeze spray, but it accidentally went into her ear, touching the eardrum. She was knocked out, but could still hear, and her mother was saying the exact same comforting thing to her that she'd heard in the dream a few months earlier. See,
that's like that deja vu shit.
yeah, that's what I consider. You know, you had a dream where something happened, and obviously, well, you can't say it's something that your parents would say, you know, not frequently, but something that your parents would say surely. Excuse me.
Yeah, like something they wouldn't normally say.
Right, you know. So,
Huh.
but like I said, this is like you said, a deja vu. She had a dream, and it just, I don't know.
Well, she says she has a dream. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Is like when I feel it, I usually think that I was like, I feel like I had this dream a few
Mm-hmm.
months ago. Was I in the Matrix? I don't know. Did I have a glitch? I don't know.
It's a lot of these are hard to believe as a glitch.
I mean,
The
it's
way,
still interesting. It's just
no, don't get me wrong,
I
yo,
would
yeah,
have
I love those.
never like if this wasn't in this list, I don't think I would have categorized it or thought of it as a glitch in the Matrix. I would have chucked it up to like deja vu or you had a vision into the future.
Vision.
Right? I don't know. All right. The Wave. At age 10, someone was in a parking lot with their parents. They looked up at a nearby house and saw a teen in the window. The teen waved, and the 10-year-old waved back. It felt like they somehow knew each other. 10 years later, this person was visiting their grandma's new house. They looked out the window and realized it was the house overlooking the same parking lot from 10 years ago. Then a girl around 10 years old in the parking lot waved up at them. It felt like they knew each other. The person couldn't explain and was left feeling freaked out. Huh.
See that sounds like a loop.
Yeah, right?
Sounds like a loop. Like it's like he's the little kid. He waved at the guy at the window. Then he was the guy at the window waving at the little kid.
Hmm.
That's what it feels. It feels like a loop.
Yeah, it was a teen. He was 10 when that happened, and it was a teen. Okay. No, because I was like, was he seeing through the eyes of the girl at the moment, seeing into the future? But it says 10 years later, so that means he was 20. And when he saw it was teen, well, we don't know because he didn't know the age of the person waving at him.
It says a teen waved. So we're guessing between 13 and 19.
Yeah.
So if he's 20, he's not a teen no more.
Huh, one of this is a loop or something. I don't know. That's pretty interesting though. That like, huh.
Yeah.
All right.
You want to read the whole story? Read the whole story and read it.
Yeah.
It
All right.
gives you more
Let's go
details.
to number 10 on the list.
The woman with the roses. It says a guy was waiting to catch a train when a woman with glazed eyes asked him for money. Well, that's probably a junkie. She said that her brother was in the hospital and she wanted to buy him some flowers. Despite suspicions of what she would do with the money, he grudgingly gave her $5. Eventually, his train pulled up and he got on. As it pulled away, he saw the woman through the glass asking other people for money to fund her roses. His train arrived at a station 15 minutes later. He walked to his bus stop and right on time his bus was arriving. He hopped on and read the paper for 5 to 10 minutes and then the bus made a routine stop. The doors opened and guess who walked on? None other than the woman from earlier, with a dozen roses in hand. She looked him right in the eyes as she passed by to take a seat. He was stunned, unsure how it was possible that she had time to get flowers and arrive there. When he caught the train before her and saw her as he pulled away, then caught the first and only bus going in that particular direction. I got lost my place. In particular direction. The mystery went unsolved with no explanation. That one is hard to explain, hard to dissect.
Yeah, no. when
you're saying goodbye to a person, you leave that person behind. There's no other train going by until like minutes later.
Yeah,
and then you catch the only freaking bus.
Minutes.
You catch the only freaking bus that went by to get off and see that. Well, not get off. That girl gets on the same bus on another stop, full of roses.
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking of when she asked him for $5. I'm just thinking of something that happened to me in PR also. I went to the mall and this guy shows up and tells me, "Hey, I need some help." And I was like, "Yeah, how can I help you?" He goes, "Well," he pulls out this insulin bottle and tells me, "You know, I need at least $5. I'm trying to buy my son new insulin, and this bottle that he had fell and it broke." So he showed me the broken bottle. So I go and I tell him, like, "You know what? Yeah, man, this is for your son." So I give him 20. And I was like, "Here, he goes, "Yeah, thank you. Look, my car's right there." He showed me like this Volkswagen that was parked there. He goes, "I have all my stuff there."
Probably wasn't him.
We're practically living in the car. And, I felt bad, whatever. So I gave him the money and I leave. The following week, same mall, opposite side. I was on the other side of the mall. The same guy comes to me. "Listen, can I ask you for a favor? I need some help. Look, my car's right there, practically in my car." And he goes, "My son needs insulin. The last bottle we had fell and it broke. Here, look at the bottle." Was I in a glitch of the Matrix? I just looked out. I got pissed. I told him, like, "Dude, you came to me last week with the same story. You need to keep it moving." And he just walked away.
You should have told him, "Look, I gave you 20, so don't bother me like 4 more times."
Like,
he was asking for $5, so
I was in a glitch in the Matrix.
No, but I have had something similar to that, but it was actually people who went to my house, and we felt bad because it's a whole family. It was I guess it was the dad and his kids, and he would go house to house asking for money or if you had any school supplies for the kids, because his house had burned down, everything that they had burned down, and the kids, they were going to school. They had lost all their books, all their clothes. So my wife and I, and my brother-in-law, we were there. We felt bad, so we gave him a couple of dollars, and I think we gave him some supplies. So that's fine. Come like about a week or two, he comes back to the same house, with the same story. Right? So we're like, "Yo, didn't we already give you? We gave you more than enough." So he leaves. He keeps going different houses. And then he has the audacity to come around like a couple of weeks later, come around again. I'm like, "What the hell?" He's just freeloading. No, it's amazing.
The glitch in the Matrix. He was on a loop.
It was a mega deja vu.
I'm like, "Bro, what is this? Groundhog Day? Fuck out of here." Living the same day over and over. Get out of here with that. All right. All right. The Unexplained Boiled Egg. I already hate the title, but
yeah, that one sounds like mega stupid.
Let's see. A man described an occasion in which he went to grab breakfast at a small buffet that his job had every morning. The kitchen was deserted, and he went to a ceramic egg tray that contained 12 warm, fresh boiled eggs. He took one and went to a nearby garbage bin to peel off the shell. Then he turned around, stunned. There were 12 eggs in the tray. Nobody had entered the room while he was peeling, yet the quantum egg had inexplicably reappeared.
See, that can be a glitch.
Yeah.
Because if you're in a room, even though you're probably, did you grab it from there?
Did you actually count them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9?
Exactly, or did you grab it from? But that's more of a glitch. We can go that way. It's more of a glitch. You took something, and you're gonna eat it or whatever. And when you turn back, it's still there again.
Yeah. Now, if it's like a dozen of eggs where you clearly see there's 12 eggs, full dozen, you take one out, turn around, and when you look back, 12 eggs again, that's freaky right there.
Yeah, exactly. But they were already boiled, so they were in a bowl. So it's like you said, did you actually count them?
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next mystery man here.
The mystery man on the bench. Every morning on his way to work, a man would pass through a shopping mall. On one of the benches, he saw an elderly man who appeared to be waiting for someone. He was a fairly normal-looking guy, though he sometimes wore a piece of attire that wasn't particularly stylish, like a golfer's cap, logger's boots, or a vest. Every morning for 4 years, he'd seen this man, but he never actually witnessed him meeting anyone. Then he got a new job located on a completely different part of town. Only a few days into working, he walked out of the subway, and to his surprise, he saw the exact same guy sitting on a bench.
Yeah, that's weird.
This freak. It's probably a stalker.
That's weird. Yeah.
It's like this guy from Family Guy. He's always stalking Chris.
Yeah, I forgot his name. But yeah. But it's like, yeah, man, like I think that would be the thought that would cross. I think most people's minds is like, bro, are you following me?
Yeah, you probably end up just going up to him like, yo, sir, excuse me, do I know you or you know me?
I think I would have. To be honest, for 4 years, I see the same person on my way to work. And all of a sudden, I go through a different route. And when I come out the subway, I see the same guy. I have to approach him like, hey, aren't you the same person I used to see in XYZ, whatever?
It'd still be strange to just come up with a conversation like, do I know you or something?
Yeah.
It'd be just strange.
Yeah, haven't
that could be also paranormal.
It could be.
Your guardian angel.
I was about to say that. I was like, maybe this is
your guardian angel. Someone in your life, someone that's did you ever meet your great grandparents, or your grandfather? Maybe you never met your grandfather. He's taking care of you, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think to be honest, I think I would have definitely been like, hey, do I know you from somewhere? Well, no, sir. Because I've been fucking seeing you for the past 4 years. Every day, bro. Every day.
And I know it's you because you wear the same freaking hat.
Word, you and your unmatching ass. All right, let's go to the last one, number 13 on the list. That it's called The Death That Didn't Happen.
Wow, you know what's sad? The picture that they have.
I know, right? Sonic. Only been to Sonic once, I think, maybe twice.
Yeah, I saw one not too long ago from here.
Because we don't have them
call
here
my
in the
attention
city.
to go.
We don't have them, and we went to. I think we actually drove to Jersey just to try it.
I haven't tried. I actually was at an appointment. There was one like about 10 minutes away from where I was at.
No.
And it just didn't call my attention to go and eat there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's all right. All right. After a school pep rally, a person and their friend decided to go to Sonic across the street. Their friend dropped something, so the person crossed the street first. They were hit by a red Tahoe. They remember gasping for air and being in and out of consciousness until there was nothing. The person experienced their death. All of a sudden, the person was back in the stadium at the pep rally. Everything began happening just as it had, and their friend wanted to go to Sonic after the rally. Freaked out and curious, the person went with their friend, just like before. The friend dropped their stuff, but instead of crossing the street, the person waited. A red Tahoe passed by. Unwilling to risk a trip across the street, the person told their friend they were going back to school. Huh, that's like a glimpse into the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's freaky. That'd be really freaky.
Yes, it is.
Damn, and you witness your own death and everything.
That's telling you something, man. Stay away from Tahoes.
Word. Stay away from Sonic.
Yeah. You're feeding Sonic? Think about the red Tahoe.
Yeah. Wow.
But that's it. Can it be considered a glitch?
I guess. I mean, just like most of these, that's more of like what is it, like a premonition? That's what they call it.
Premonition. Mm-hmm.
Premonition.
Yeah, vision.
So yeah, maybe he just had a vision, but again, if we are in the Matrix, if this is a simulation, then yeah, that was a glitch. You know, is they got the cheat code. They had the, what was it?
Up, down, left, right.
Yeah, what was it called? The Game Shark. The Game Shark on it.
Yeah, I remember that.
This was gonna happen, bro. Unlimited lives. Once you died, you went back to the beginning again.
You need to plug in a controller and do your, your button pressing.
Yeah, but I'd be freaked out though. If you actually see like all of a sudden, hey, let's do this just like you saw it, and then you see, the car that actually hit you, like, yeah. All right, so this has been the list from the article in BuzzFeed.
Anybody wants to read them? Be my guest.
Yep, check the show notes, check the video description. We will have the link there of 13 stories of people experiencing a glitch in the Matrix that'll freak you out. And if any of you had any type of, I guess, I don't know, experience this way, something similar, we want to read about it. Drop it in the comments. Like I shared, JR shared our versions of what we think might have been experiences with the glitch in the Matrix. Maybe probably in the next episode, we'll ask Charles if he's ever had one of these type of experiences. I'm pretty sure
he must have had one.
He must have had I think we all have something similar. Again, like you saw something and then you go and you see, the same thing again, or you thought you saw someone and then they're somewhere else.
Yeah, something that you got to double take.
You see an old man for 4 years and then you move and hey, it's an old man again. I don't know. So we want to hear your stories. Please drop it in the comments. And yeah, remember that you can find us also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find the Grim Fix Podcast. You can drop us a message through there. If you have a story, which again, you think might make a great episode for our podcast, we invite you to send us your story at the grimfixpodcast@gmail.com. Please remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast, and above all, share with your friends. So I think we can leave it here.
Yep.
This has been the Grim Fix Podcast. Till next week, guys, please be safe.
Be safe, everyone.